We are getting a much better idea of what happened inside Pulse nightclub early Sunday morning. That survivor that you just heard from giving just a harrowing details about how a night of fun turned into a morning of terror. He describes hearing gunfire, people yelling for help, and then being shot 5 times by a lone gunman. A man he says was heartless and ruthless. We have team coverage this afternoon, beginning with Bruce Hamilton, who is live in Orlando. Bruce, hearing Angel Cologne's recount of what happened to him, you realize it is just remarkable he is even alive to tell his story.
Oh, this is a remarkable story of survival, and I will get to that in a second. First, dramatic new information. There are published reports that I've been privy to from police sources. I told you this morning that another arrest was possible. Those published sources say that the person who may be being questioned right now by the FBI is Omar Mateen's wife. Why, you ask? Well, apparently back on April 26th, she and Mateen traveled to Disney and went to the area that used to be known as downtown Disney, apparently for reconnaissance. They are questioning her because they believe she had prior knowledge. They believe that because she reportedly told Omar Mateen that she didn't want him to go ahead with this, that it was absurd. More on that throughout the course of the morning. Meantime, we are hearing from doctors and victims at the Orlando Regional Medical Center. Here is the latest. Of the 53 people who survived and were shot, 27 remain hospitalized. 6 are in critical condition and being treated in the ICU. One doctor said he'd be surprised if the death toll doesn't rise. Another doctor said he can't even imagine what he'd seen. It is the largest massacre he could have ever imagined. The FBI also looking at reports that Omar Mateen was a regular at the Pulse nightclub. His ex-wife says he enjoyed nightlife, but she's not sure if he has what she calls, quote, homosexual tendencies. Meantime, now to that amazing story of survival. We heard from doctors and some of those who were victimized by Omar Mateen who are still being treated at Orlando Regional Medical Center. This victim was shot. He was trampled. He heard commotion. He heard the gunman coming at him, and he was shot again, a total of 3 times. Listen to his dramatic story.
Unfortunately, I was shot about 3 times in my leg, so I had fallen down. I tried to get back up, but everyone started running everywhere. I got trampled over, and I shattered and broke my bones on my left leg. So by this time, I couldn't walk at all. All I could do was just lay down there while everyone was just running on top of me, trying to get to where they had to be. And all I could hear was the shotgun, one after another, and people screaming, people yelling for help. By this time, this man, he goes into the other room, and I can just hear more shotguns going on. I thought I was a little safe at this time because, you know, it's giving everyone time to tackle him down or get him down. But unfortunately, I hear him come back, and he's shooting everyone that's already dead on the floor, making sure they're dead. I was able to peek over, and I can just see him shooting at everyone. And I can hear the shotguns closer, and I look over, and he shoots the girl next to me. And I'm just there laying down. I'm thinking, I'm next, I'm dead. So I don't know how, but by the glory of God, he shoots towards my head, but it hits my hand. And then he shoots me again, and it hits the side of my hip. I had no reaction. I was just prepared to just stay there, laying down, so he won't know that I'm alive. And he's just doing this for another 5-10 minutes. He's just shooting all over the place. By this time, he goes up to the front, and I think that's when he's battling against the cops.
That is truly unbelievable. Here is a man who is seeing his life flash before his eyes. He is intent on surviving. And amazingly, given the circumstances, he did. A little earlier, in an interview you'd see only on 4, I had a chance to talk to Florida Governor Rick Scott. We talked about a number of things, his thoughts the night he found out about the shooting itself. But some of the things he said to me were very interesting. He said he's very upset that federal authorities don't share information with him about Floridians who could pose a potential threat to society. And our discussion went on. He said at the national and international level, more needs to be done to take out ISIS, to virtually take them out of the equation. And I kind of looked at him and I said, Governor, you know, I've talked to you so many times. We've known each other for a very long time. And I never have heard you like this. In fact, listen to my question, because I talk about the frustration that I sensed. I've talked to you a number of times. I don't think I've ever seen you so frustrated. Do you think that this can bring about a dialogue and bring about change? I mean, has it increased your resolve?
Yeah, I mean, go talk to a mom. Go talk to, you know, a family that lost their loved one. Go listen to their, I mean, can you imagine your child? I have daughters the same age as many of these individuals that were killed, and they targeted people. I mean, would you want, I mean, nobody would want this ever to happen to their family. I don't ever have to go through this again. So our federal government needs to stop doing, I mean, they got to show up. Destroy ISIS. Say, this is radical Islam. Say, ISIS inspired this. We got to stop this.
I know you told me that your grandson wants to be a police officer when he grows up.
He wants to rescue people.
Rescue people,
yeah,
save people.
He wears a badge every day, either a fireman's badge or a police badge.
Does that give you faith that not all is lost in society?
Oh, no. I'm very optimistic about our society. Look, we have a wonderful state. Orlando's a wonderful community. We've got a great nation. But this nation has to say to itself, when is enough enough? In my opinion, if it's not now, how many more lives are we going to lose? But no, I mean, I love being a grandparent, and I love being a parent. And when you know, I've made sure my grandson knows law enforcement. He knows firemen. He knows people that go do good. They do good. I mean, I talked to the officer that got shot in the helmet.
The Kevlar helmet.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, think about it. If it was 2 inches lower, he would be dead.
So as a dad and a grandpa, put Governor aside. You want a better life for our kids. You want a safe life for our kids.
Yeah, I want them to be able to go out and enjoy life. Like the 320 people that went to the nightclub, they just went out to enjoy their night. They didn't go, these were just nice people going out to enjoy their night, have fun with each other. In our country, you ought to be able to do that and not have a risk of some radical, you know, Islami come in shooting you and killing you.
He goes on to say, Bruce, yeah, I'm the governor of this state. I have leadership responsibilities, but I'm a dad and I'm a grandfather, and that's the most important role that I play in life. Let's talk a little bit more about the shooter's family. And you know what? There are a lot of people who are in the news media who basically say, I'm not going to say that man's name anymore because he doesn't deserve that recognition. So we're going to call him the shooter for these purposes. Learning more about the shooter's wife. We're learning more about where he lived in Fort Pierce. Channel 4's Nikki Kimbleton is covering that part of the story. Good afternoon, Nikki.
Hi, Bruce. So, you know, we're getting a firsthand look inside the Orlando shooter's apartment in Fort Pierce. Reporter Juan Carlos with Univision says Omar Martin's apartment had no police tape around the balcony door, that the door was wide open. So here's a closer look. This reporter describes seeing pictures of a man inside, believed to be the shooter, with his son and his friends. The reporter also says there's evidence police had searched the apartment. There were drawers pulled out, clothes all over the place. Also seen in the apartment was a military knife, an expired Florida firearms license, and books on Islam. Now, this video was taken last night as the woman believed to be the shooter's wife arrived at the apartment. She did not talk to reporters and was seen walking inside. Now, the ex-wife spoke last night with CNN's Aaron Burnett. We want to make it clear this was his ex-wife, not his wife. She was married to Mateen several years ago for about 4 months. There's been questions as to whether or not the shooter himself was gay and if maybe that was even a motivation in these shootings. When asked what she believed, here is what his ex-wife had to say.
When we had gotten married, he confessed to me about his past that was recent at that time, and that he very much enjoyed going to clubs and the nightlife, and there was a lot of pictures of him. So, you know, I feel like it's a side of him or a part of him that he lived, but probably didn't want everybody to know about.
Do you think he was gay?
I don't know. He never personally or, physically made any indication while we were together of that, but he did feel very strongly about homosexuality.
Now, the ex-wife also spoke about his behavior change during their marriage. She says in the beginning he was funny, very open, but after a month, she saw a different side. She says he became emotionally unstable, and in her words, it evolved into insanity. So, Bruce, that's a bit of a closer look at a little bit more at the, at the shooter. And I hearing what you said, and, I've noticed that throughout the day that more and more news agencies, national news agencies, starting to refer to him as the shooter instead of saying his name continually.
Yeah, because the thinking is these people want the notoriety. They want their names associated with, whatever it is they believe in, right or wrong, no matter how you think about it. And they don't deserve that satisfaction. Nikki, thank you. Recapping once again the newest information. I told you here on the morning show that my sources told me another arrest was possible in this case. We are hearing from sources, and there are confirmed published reports that this suspect's wife, his current wife, is in the process of being questioned by authorities because she may have known something and may have told him not to move forward, but didn't warn anybody else. More on that to come throughout the day here on air and on news4jax.com. Jen.
Bruce, thank you.